Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A story about Azure Minerals, and thank you for taking the opportunity to listen to it. We're an Australian company. We're based in Western Australia. We work solely in Mexico, and as we're at a mining conference, we are both an explorer and a miner. Just corporately on the company, we've got about 160 million shares on issue with a market cap of around about 26 million Australian dollars. Because we're operating in Mexico and because we've had considerable success down there, we've generated a lot of interest, particularly here in North America. So about a third of our shares are now owned by shareholders who are domiciled here in North America, plus our actual largest shareholder is a German investment fund as well. So nearly half of our shares are owned outside of Australia now, which truly does make us quite an international company. All of our projects are located in northern Mexico, mostly in the state of Sonora, and that's where our office is based. But the two main projects we've got are the Alacrán Silver and Gold Project, which is located just to the south of the Arizona border, and Oposura, which is a zinc and lead project, which is about another 100 kilometres south of that. Northern Mexico is a great place to operate from the exploration and mining point of view, with their several hundred years of mining history, the very common acceptance of mining as an industry that benefits local communities and the country as a whole. It's a very highly desirable place to work. Just in terms of the two projects, I'm only going to talk about one today in detail, and that's the Alacrán Silver and Gold Project, but I will briefly mention here the Oposura Zinc Project as well. But Alacrán is a project where we've been exploring since 2015. We've made two really great silver and gold discoveries on there, and they're currently growing as well. With the Australian JORC resources of 32 million ounces of silver and 150,000 ounces of gold, these are high-grade resources at surface, and very attractive from the mining point of view. There's excellent opportunities to make these a lot bigger as well and to find new discoveries. The Oposura Zinc and Lead Project is one that I won't talk too much about today, other than to say that we've got resources on there at the moment. We're currently undertaking a small-scale mining and processing operation down there to develop cash flow for the company, and the mining's underway now, and the cash flow is expected to be coming into the company in the first quarter of next year, early in the first quarter of next year. So that's a very interesting and hopefully quite a profitable project for us. But today, due to time constraints, I'm really just going to talk about the silver and the gold project at Alacrán. This is a Google Earth image of the Alacrán Project, which is shown there in, you can see it there in the white squares in the bottom right-hand corner. It's about 54 square kilometres of land there, which hosts our silver and gold resources. But it's in a copper district, and just to the northwest of it, 10 kilometres away, is the Cananea copper mine. Cananea is one of the world's largest copper mines. It's probably number 3 or 4 in the world in terms of production. Has to be one of the absolute biggest in the world in terms of earth moving. It mines, comprising both ore and waste. It mines over 900,000 tonnes per day in that mining operation. It's absolutely enormous. And in that same district, there's another 5 or 6 operating copper mines as well. And so this really is a tier 1 mining district with world-class copper mines operating. And when we acquired the project, we of course thought that this was going to be a very great copper exploration play. Little did we know that it actually hosts a significant amount of silver and gold as well. You can see there on the right-hand side, there's the Cerro Alacrán copper porphyry. That was a relatively small copper deposit that was found back in the 1990s, and it hosts around about 100 million tonnes of 0.2% copper, and that was going to be our main target when we acquired the project. But what we did find almost straight away was outcropping silver and gold mineralisation in the northwest corner, and we found 2 deposits up there. Mesa de Plata and Loma Bonita. They're side-by-side deposits, completely different geologically, which is really unusual. One is a silver-only project, which is silver-only deposit, which is Mesa de Plata, and Loma Bonita, which is a combination of silver and gold, which made this project very interesting from us from an exploration point of view. So all of a sudden, our highest priority became the silver and gold deposits that you can see there. And this is the Mesa de Plata silver deposit. It's about over a kilometre long in a northwest to southeast direction, and it forms the top of the hill. And so the 27.5 million ounces of silver that are in this deposit form the upper 80 metres of that hill. So the entire hill is mineralised. And the best part of it, as you zoom in on it, there's 15.5 million ounces of high-grade silver, which actually form the physical capping on the top of the ridge. So from the mining point of view, from the mining perspective, you're looking at the best bit of the ore body forms the top of the hill. And so that from an extraction and mining point of view, it's not an underground operation, it's not even an open pit operation. It's literally just taking the top off the ridge when you're going to be mining it. So this is a wonderful discovery, and we expect it to be getting a lot bigger. And the best part about it, as I'm talking about, is the high grades. This is a snapshot of two of our geologists taking some samples in the early days, and that boring, bland, brown and white looking rock that you can see there, that's very, very high grade silver running 1,000 to 3,000 grams per tonne silver at surface in that rock, and it's basically just a pure silica and silver. No other minerals, it's no gold, no base metals, just pure silica and silver. And metallurgically it treats really well. We can extract the silver very well. And that's what makes this project such an attractive one from an economic point of view. And just as an aside on this, the funny thing about it is that there is a road that drives over this hill. That road's been there over 100 years, and people have never got out of their car and taken samples of this, what is a very boring looking rock, until our geologists went out there and they recognised that as the potential for an epithermal style of mineralisation. They took those samples, and as you can see, they're taking several thousands of grams of tonne silver at surface. Amazing that these things still exist out there to be found even after hundreds and hundreds of years of exploration. So our priorities here going forward on Alacrán is to make the existing resources bigger. So we've got 32 million ounces of silver and 150,000 ounces of gold. The highest priority is going to be working in the northwest area there, and we're going to be back there drilling before the end of this year, and we'll be drilling throughout the early part of next year as well. The copper project on the right-hand side, lower priority, something for us to look at, but at the moment, the most exciting parts of this project are definitely the precious metals. In addition to the silver and gold that we've already discovered, there are a number of other areas which have got really interesting silver and gold old mine workings sticking out of the ground, areas where there were veins which the old timers had identified and done a little bit of mining on. They seem to wrap around the copper porphyry that's been identified there, and so you can see that there's potential there for us to go and look for some new examples and maybe make some new discoveries of resources. But the area that's outlined in red is just this quite a bland looking area. There's a whole series of quartz veins or mineralised veins that run across this area that were mined historically about 100 to 150 years ago. And just some of the numbers you can see there, these are the sample numbers, the grades that we got back from some of these old mines. Highest grades of over 3,500 grams per tonne silver, 24 grams per tonne gold, very high grades of zinc and lead in the 20 to 30% range as well. This is an area where the historical miners were very active, but modern explorers have never been. And we're the first people to have sampled this area in probably 100 years, and it's never been drilled, and that's one of our high priorities areas in terms of near-term exploration priorities in the months and over next year. So just where do we go to from here in terms of Alacrán? And Precious Metals Project, which has got great silver and gold resources. So we're looking at drilling to be increasing those resources, and that drilling will be starting before Christmas and will continue right through the first half of next year. That's to increase the resources. We'll also be applying some of that drilling to the high-grade the veins and old workings that we've discovered, which we won't call them new discoveries, but they've been newly identified zones of high-grade mineralisation. So we'll also be looking at those as well and doing some drilling there. But we'll also be looking at the development of this project, and we want to be able to take this forward through to becoming no longer an advanced stage exploration play, but actually making it into a mine. So we'll be doing a lot of work on the Mesa de Plata and Loma Bonita hilltop deposits. Because of the simple way they could be mined, it's an attractive from that point of view. It's very amenable, that mineralisation, to different styles of extraction. We've done a lot of metallurgy as well, so that things are looking good there. So these deposits certainly have the potential for, in the near term, low cost and quite highly profitable mining operations. So for the company, we're looking at going forward, let's grow the resources that we see there at Alacrán, make them a lot bigger. They're a good size already, but we believe we can make them significantly larger. More development studies, so that get into the feasibility study stage to be able to take these Mesa de Plata and Loma Bonita deposits through to production. We've identified those new zones of very high-grade precious and base metal mineralisation, which we'll be exploring next year and doing a lot of drilling on as well. But in addition to that, on the project, which I haven't really discussed in detail, Oposura, where we're currently doing that small-scale mining and processing, cash flows starting in the early part of next year going forward will certainly fully support the company from that point of view. So the company's in a very strong position, and Azure's got some very exciting times ahead. Thank you very much.